Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ted Harge's Big Boy Blogging at tedharge.com, where it's all about me and I'm all about you. So let's get together, something like that. Anyway, this is September 11th. Very tough day. Seeing all the memorials and things like that on TV and bringing back all the memories, and it's definitely a time to reflect on where we've been and where we're going. So I kind of want to address some things today. Um, there's going to be a pictorial that I'm going to go through as well um, as I go through here. On September 11th, the day started out like this, but ended up much worse. The Twin Towers as we knew them. I just want to say rest in peace to the victims of 9/11, of the 9/11 terror attacks on the World Trade Center and other targets across America. What a shame that had to happen. But also there are victims around the world, including Iraq, which we attacked under the false premise that they had weapons of mass destruction. And I've read estimates as high as 100,000 Iraqis died. A terrible thing that many Americans don't think about, and the media didn't talk about much. In fact, the estimates were, as they thought, I had read as low as 5,000 as far as estimates that a lot of people thought Iraqis that had died. And the really disturbing thing is that many of those were civilians. This picture, the unthinkable happens. No one ever thought that this could have happened to us, and that's where the shock came in. I think we were a little bit too comfortable, and the unthinkable happened. U.S. attack, hijacked jets, destroyed Twin Towers, and hit Pentagon in a day of terror and shock, I would add. I want to address the foreign policy just a little bit. I want to try to be brief on these topics so I don't stay too long, talk too long. But I think what needs to be addressed and what should have been addressed and what should be addressed up until this day and forward is the foreign policy that created such enemies that hate America to that extent. And I don't think we should be naive enough as American citizens to think that we're over here minding our own business and somebody decided to go through all that trouble to hijack a plane and run it into our buildings. As far as the foreign policy that America has and has had, that we think it's okay to go into other people's countries and other people's interests and things like that and do whatever we need to for the interests of America. All right, this sooner or later is going to create enemies that will get back to us. And as citizens, we should make sure that our government, all right, is doing what is is speaking for us and taking actions for us. We should hold them accountable and not just trust blindly what they decide to do. And when we find out that they've done things that was not made known, obviously everything can't be made known. We should do what we can do about that. Just be aware of it and don't approve of everything blindly just because it comes from America. This is our America that they're representing to people. Let's make sure that it's represented properly, because sooner or later, as the saying goes, you're going to have to pay the piper. Okay. Here's a picture here, and then a close-up. That's very sad and shocking. These are people hanging out the window of the twin towers, just for air, just to gasp for air, just to be able to breathe and to get away from the intense heat. Many of these people ended up jumping, and there's a video actually showing pictures and videos of jumpers, and it's just shocking, and the horror, to imagine what the horror of that day must have been to allow people to think that their best option was to jump down that incredibly high building. It's really sad. I want to address conspiracy theories right quick. and 7 World Trade Center, World Trade. I hate the term conspiracy theories with a lot of things because it's set up for us to think that they're merely conspiracy theories when in fact a lot of them are probably the truth. All right, we've been lied to so many times that we're better off believing something that is off the beaten track, kind of off center, than we are believing what's fed to us. Because there's a very good chance what's fed to us is not the truth. So we shouldn't think of these as some kind of weird, quirky conspiracy theories. But as pointed out, if you see the documentaries, excuse me, that World Trade Center, which was blocks away, collapsed just like the two trade towers. All right, yet buildings that were right next to it didn't clash. You see buildings standing firm and tall right around the World Trade Center, but blocks away, 7 World Trade Center collapsed the same way that the two twin towers did, straight down, imploded in among itself. So there's a lot of theories that say that Americans or whatever people that we don't expect to be involved were involved in the destruction of the World Trade Center as well as 7 World Trade. All right, and I think those are things that maybe that need to be considered if you're looking for the truth. I'm not saying that you need to go digging for it, but just realize that a lot of things are happening behind the scenes that we don't even know. All right, and it's when you get the opportunity to, sure, search and find some answers for things. Okay, next picture is wow, the detail and color and it's right up there. You can see the horror of the day with this one, as I believe, yeah, this is the second plane crashing into the second twin towers. One of the pictures, and I want to go to this one, says never forget. Where's my never forget picture? I hope I have it up here. I don't have it here. If you look on my blog, the main picture of the blog is going to be the Twin Towers with a flag and it says never forget. And I want to say this. Never forget, but allow others to never forget. Allow the black community and people in the black community know that it's okay, despite what anybody may say, to never forget what was done to us and what's continuing to this day. Never forget the victims of police brutality going on today, all right, and the governmental murder of our citizens, either directly or by indifference, or even the darker things that go on behind the scenes that are so scary. People like Melissa Alexander, who's in jail, in prison for 20 years for firing a gun into her wall to scare away already convicted husband who was in her house threatening her, while George Zimmerman gets away with killing an unarmed teen, Trayvon Martin. All right, people like that, the beatings and the murders that go on. You see the videos. Please come and join our group, Bullshit of the Day. You can go there by going to facebook.com/groups with an S/bull of the day, because all these things are documented there in those groups. Never forget these. Never forget about slavery. Never forget the people behind slavery that are still in power. Never forget, as we should never forget 9/11, the victims and the perpetrators. Never forget anything that people try to do to change your destiny and your lot in life that may be fighting against you doing that. Okay. Here goes a good picture that shows a few different takes. There's 6 different takes here on the World Trade Center at different times. The second plane approaching, the crash of the second plane, as it explodes and billows grows into billows of smoke coming from that. Just an incredible. We all probably remember where we were when we heard that happened. And last, I want to show you the World Trade Center Memorial. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. It shows the site the photo of it right close up enough to where you can see the ground where the lights come from. And then here's a picture that shows the a further back view of the memorial going up, shooting up to the sky. What a creative way of showing that, all right, of turning something terrible into something positive. Okay, there's a video here, and I just have a quote with this video, and it's of the jumpers. And I think we need to see the realness of this, and we need to see the realness of the torture and pain that we cause other people in other countries as well. We should not close our eyes, all right? But there's a great quote I like about this. It says, murdering people in terrorist acts is morbid and the worst possible bad taste. But I'd rather think about other things. But ignoring and not dealing with these things is precisely what led up to 9/11. If we can't even look at what's happening, how are we going to stop it from happening again? If we continue living in a 9/10 world where we just refuse to look at or deal with some things, what will come next? If we can't look at the ugly truth, the whole of it, how are we going to respond to it effectively? So we need to do that. And then there's the video that shows a lot of people hanging out the windows, jumping, deciding to take their lives rather than to deal with the heat and not being able to breathe and the horror of that day. There's one thing I forgot to talk about, and that's not letting the government settle for, not realizing that we don't have to settle for the government's open-ended freedoms that they have in the homeland and abroad with their citizens. After 9/11, it's like the floodgates just opened up. There's laws that have been passed that allows the governments to arrest people without, without trials, to hold them without proof and without reason if they're a threat to be terrorists, or if the government says they're probably terrorists. Things are building. Armaments are being accumulated in America, on the homeland, all right, that people are saying are being saved up for a reason, all right. Attacks on citizens in broad daylight, beatings and killings, and a lot of things are happening in the name of terrorists. We should not allow our government to have these open-ended freedoms, all right. Because, and I probably can't remember the words, but I remember one person saying that the government's stance in a lot of cases is never let a good tragedy not be taken advantage of. All right. In other words, when a tragedy happens, whether it was deliberate or not, it's an opportunity to get away with and set up things that you normally would not be able to set up anytime, whether that be going to war, whether that be passing certain laws or creating certain freedoms for the government, in our case, to eavesdrop, to do whatever they want and need to do. All right. And let's not allow them to have those open-ended freedoms. Okay. All right, so that's pretty much it. I wanted to address 9/11 on this day, and I probably won't go out until late Wednesday night, maybe even Thursday, but I'm going to get it out there. And thank you guys again for tuning in. And hey, let's stay positive. Let's stay, despite the terrors in this crazy, crazy ass world. All right, let's stay positive and know that there's nothing wrong with being positive and holding on to the vision and dreams that we can have whatever we want to have, and believing that we can have. There's only those dreams that will allow us to do that. Thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.